Welcome to K6UDA Radio, the ham radio show your mother warned you about. And once again, I'm back out in smoky, hazy weather. Actually, it is not quite as smoky as it was a few days ago, but nonetheless, we have fires a-burning here in California. You know, they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And it seems that the state of California, once again, is showing its insanity in not having proper backup communications. I won't say that they're not supporting ham radio in their backup communications anymore, because I don't know. I haven't heard anything. The last I heard, they haven't been actively kicking us out of repeater sites, but this is a good time to remind everybody here that ham radio is kind of that last resort communication. For my preppers in the group, the new preppers in the group, I really want to stress the importance of doing something like ham radio, FRS, CB, GMRS radios. I don't care. Get some kind of backup communications. Because honestly, if this is what you're relying on in an emergency, you're going to be way behind the power curve. Because as this new article in the LA Times shows, California is still way behind the power curve when it comes to dealing with actual emergencies and getting people alerted to things like wildfires and when it's time to evacuate. So let's have a discussion about Plan B communications live on K6UDA Radio. Hey, good morning, guys. It's Bob, K6UDA, and yeah, now we're live. Kind of a big shoe today, really big shoe. I want to, I kind of, after that whole California thing last year, was it? I kind of wanted to take a step back from all these hardcore issues that tend to get me in hot water. But we're going to do it again today. I'm not going to be as critical about what's going on or the state. I'm not going to, really nuke them hard. But yeah, I am. So anyway, we'll switch off to camera number 2 here. We'll see who we've got in the stream today. I know we had a thumbs down before we even started. I've got 65 people on the stream right now with 17 thumbs up. Let's see. From Clark Chloe, I'm a TV star today. Yeah, baby, on the 65-inch. That is freaking awesome. W7 III. Yahoo, and I know the tech baron there was saying that he thinks maybe I was powder in the head so it wouldn't glare so much off the cameras. No such luck, my friend. You got me in all my glory. Anyway, guys, to today's topic here. Let me. I'm gonna pop up another screen here, and let me find the right one. There it is. And let's move off and talk about this. This came to me from the EC of our local Aries group here. He sent this out, I think, to everybody, and pretty much kind of says it all. Los Angeles Times, this is from just a few days ago, As fires rage, county officials struggle with confusing emergency alert systems. You'll notice this was from August 25th, just a few days ago. Not going to read the whole thing. You can go ahead and read this thing for yourself if you wanted to read the whole thing. But in Napa County, a wildfire alert meant cell phones could not connect because of a coding error. Sonoma County, similar alerts were sent to areas that required no evacuation and linked to an evacuation map that was a year old. So just to let you guys see this, there's all kinds of issues. Now, a year, 2 years after we've had major fires, and these plans have been in place. Despite heeding much of the emergency management guidance dispensed in the last year from Sacramento, counties dealing with the Lightning Complex fire, that for you guys out of the area is what they've named this latest big group of fires that's burning through California. Let's see, in Vacaville, where police, firefighters, and the Solano County Sheriff's deputies were evacuating people door to door in the middle of the night, someone had to go to the home of an EOC worker, wake him up because his cell phone had been set to vibrate. Hey, you know what? Honestly, in the grand scheme of things, that is kind of not a huge big deal. I've had deputies wake me up in the middle of the night when I ran our traffic division, and we'd get a major call because I would turn the freaking phone off. So they would come knock on my door when they needed me. And so I don't really blame them. That's a people problem. But if the guy knew that there was fires going on, why the hell did he turn his phone off? That is a problem, and that's an HR problem to me. Let's see, in Napa County, emergency managers considered sending out an Amber Alert style messages to cell phones telling residents to stay vigilant in case they needed to evacuate, but ultimately had to use other means that potentially reach fewer people. During the construction of the message content, it was discovered that the alert vendor's software contained errors. So instead of issuing our message utilizing the Nixil alert tool, so they were issuing messages using something else. And then in Sonoma County, where unlike 3 years ago, when previous emergency management director failed to alert some residents of a fire at all, the department's current leader is concerned with having too many people alerted. Wow. Okay. Let's see. So we go down, and indeed, on the Vacaville Police Department Facebook page, the department told residents at 10:40 p.m. August 18th, there's currently no danger of evacuation orders to residents of Vacaville. If for some reason this changes, we will work nonstop to notify our community via social media, by phone, or in person. Less than an hour later, evacuations were underway. The county blasted out messages through its Alert Solano program and posted them on social media, shared them with the media, but none of those approaches work when a person is tuned out or logged off. And it doesn't work again if the cell phone towers lose power or burn down. It doesn't help if the power goes out and people can't turn on the TV to see the alerts. So we keep on, let's just keep going with this. Just a little bit more that I wanted to cover. Possibly the most noticeable change was the use of the Federal Integrated Public Warning System, IPAWS, and its Amber Alert style warning called the Wireless Emergency Alert. For years, the technology was notoriously avoided by emergency managers because its messages were considered too short to be helpful while often reaching too far. But under, let's see, and then we go back to Sonoma County. Um, let's see, Sonoma County, they blasted out messages on social media and the news. It also sent out 20 cell phone alerts, each targeted to a specific part of the community for evacuation. The only problem is two of those messages had errors. One was set to a larger area than intended. It was an overwarning. That's not a big mistake, and I agree. That's you know what? That's not a huge deal. The second was an erroneous message, which included a hyperlink to the evacuation map for last year's Kincaid fire. That, my friends, can be a really bad thing. If you've ever been trapped or ever been in a wildfire, and I have, that is scary stuff. Let's see. It's beyond confusing. In Sonoma County, we've been under this kind of trauma for years, and those calls can re-trigger trauma. Okay, well, you know what? I'd rather be alive than worry about my trauma. Let's see. Apart from cell phone messages, the county was also using social and traditional media channels along with its subscription-based software to communicate with the public as state guidelines recommended. I want you to notice in there that this is the county and the state's entire way to notify you in case of an emergency. Cell phone alerts, social media, and traditional media, along with subscription-based software to communicate with people via cell phone. Amber Alert kind of messages. So, what could possibly go wrong? Come back to hang on here. We got to come back to the camera and there I am. All right, James Hannibal, KH2SR. Welcome, my friend. Welcome to the stream there. And James says, police, fire, wildland fire, ambulance, SAR, and other government efficient agencies should switch to a GoTenna Mesh Pro, which was designed to integrate their communications and solve problems of interagency comms. Can you guys hear my wife and my daughter? Give me a quick second. I'm going to go shut my door. Okay, sorry about that. And we're back. All right, so today, two-prong approach here. I'm going to do this a little bit more ham radio crash course style. I have, I did a PowerPoint. I know, death by PowerPoint. And then we're going to kind of open it up to you guys for the bigger discussion here. Super Viking 2. And I know the guys that live down in the Gulf Coast there, Texas, Louisiana, you guys are dealing with two major hurricanes right now and aftermath, and it's still going on. Crazy stuff. Let's see. Let me just put this one up. Our local news is comprised of civilians. Civilians need to pass on info, and the sad state of affairs. Pun intended. Yeah. People trust the media less than they trust Congress, if that's even possible. I don't know. So anyway, let's go to the next the next thing we're gonna look at here, and I am going to share my screen. All right, guys. So this is what I call Plan B, because if the power goes out during this, if the cell phone towers burn up like they did in the Paradise Fire, or get knocked down by a hurricane, strong winds, or whatever, everything that the state just put in place doesn't work. It all goes away, just like it did in the Paradise Fire, 2 years ago. So, and this is mainly for the new people in the group, the preppers in the group. I really want to key, because that's kind of becoming the new dynamic here in ham radio and emergency communications. These guys, let's see, can you guys see this? Give me a quick second here. All right. Yeah, I guess you guys can see it on the screen. Let me know if there's a problem. Exactly, they have no credibility. Yeah. Let's see. So, emergency types, common emergency types. And I always break stuff down. I used to break stuff down like this for my trainees when I was working as an FTO. So, personal emergencies, generally medical or criminal. This is, I've fallen and I can't get up. I'm having a heart attack. Somebody else is having a heart attack. Or something bad has happened in my life. It's criminal. Somebody broke into my house. Somebody hurt me. There's been a car accident. You're trying to get aid. Normally, in this scenario, cell phones still work here. Localized emergencies. These are your spot fires, your local fires, local flooding, or bigger criminal kinds of things. We've had officer-involved shootings here that have gone kind of region-wide. They've kind of locked things down, locked down an entire city. Cell phones generally still work in this situation. The circuits don't get overloaded. Things seem to work. Regional emergencies, wildfire, flooding, tornadoes, civil unrest, and that's kind of my new one here, because we're in civil unrest now. Things that I would have never talked about, at least publicly, with between you and I, now are becoming commonplace. Cell phone service may work in these situations. I know last year when we had the PG&E power shutoffs, the cell phone stopped working after 6 hours because the battery backups they went out. As did a lot of ham radio repeaters when their battery backups failed, or after they exhausted, ham radio repeaters went down. So that made a lot of guys reevaluate, their ham radio setups. Made AT&T and Verizon reevaluate repeater sites, or their cell phone sites, and I think they've added some backup. But hey, when you've got the power out for 4 or 5 days, those towers are going to be done. They are going down. Let's see. Other things may take them out too. Wildfire can take out cell phone towers, take out the electrical grid. That can cause major problems. Statewide or large region emergencies, hurricanes, big blackouts, bigger civil unrest. This is where you want to start relying on Plan B, and Plan B is ham radio, is FRS if you're not a ham, and if that also depends on if you have some kind of a like a neighborhood structure, a neighborhood watch kind of a thing for other emergencies. Very, very good to get with all the neighbors. We'll talk about that a little later, and get everybody kind of on that same page. So regardless of what happens, everybody in the neighborhood could kind of stay apprised of what is going on. And if you've got, especially if you've got a ham in the neighborhood who could kind of head that up, or a couple of hams that can head that kind of stuff up and relay messages in and out on a bigger scale, that works fantastic. We've seen it done in the Paradise Fire with the Shingletown group. They've got a really, really well organized plan. National or international emergencies. This could be war, civil war, a loss of the power grid, or massive civil unrest. Again, we're going to want to go to Plan B. We don't want to look at Plan A as our primary means of communication. Let's see. When you're in the middle, here's an exercise that we used to do in the sheriff's office for training. You'd put a blindfold on. They would lead you into a scenario and pull the blindfold off, and you just had to deal with whatever is in front of you. And we need to learn to do that as people that are responsible for their own safety and their own security. We need to be able to pull the blindfold off and deal with the problem, deal with whatever is in front of you quickly, efficiently, and mitigate it. The natural responses when you're in the middle of this is fight or flight. So people tend to kind of panic. We get tunnel vision. We have auditory exclusions. We'll fall back to basic training if we have any of that. Otherwise, people tend to freeze up. They vapor lock under extreme pressure. So the Plan B communications is not something you want to just go buy a ham radio and stick it in the cupboard for someday. You need to be practicing with this, and to practice, and this is regardless. FRS radios, GMRS, CB radios, whatever your infrastructure entails, you need to practice. And if that means you need to practice with your family, by all means, practice with your family, practice with your neighborhood, or whatever organization you've got in place, whatever backup you've got in place. And any personal emergency at that point, that medical thing, that criminal thing, that's just affecting you or your family, that is in and of itself can be your shit hits the fan situation. And there goes the swear jar, the first swear jar. And the first person that gives me a super chat for the swear jar gets an honorable mention. Thank you. Let's see. Where Plan B saves lives. Personal emergencies. You flipped your Jeep over on the trail. You're injured or you're stranded. You've got no cell service. Plan B. You've got a radio in the Jeep. Maybe you can use that to hit a repeater on the Rubicon or wherever and get yourself help. The neighborhood emergency, the ability to communicate vital information with a small community. The examples could be armed and dangerous subjects in your area, the spot fires, tornado warnings, pick your poison, anything like that could affect a small area, a neighborhood. That is something that, you know what, if you get that alert that there is, say, an armed and dangerous subject running around your neighborhood, everybody shelter in place, lock your doors. Well, and let's just take this FRS radio, for example. You're not a ham. You've got an FRS radio, and your neighbors all have FRS radios to go along with it. If you guys have practiced this, you've got a small kind of an emergency here, a neighborhood emergency. Everybody turns these things on or turns on the ham radios or whatever, and you're monitoring. This way, if somebody sees something, if somebody has information, they can pass it along to the entire neighborhood all at once. Let's see, civil unrest. Again, here's kind of a new one, and it's honest. It's here now. They're burning down cities, and it doesn't look like it's gonna get any better. Hey, the other day we had someone on the law and order side of things shoot 3 people, killed 1 or 2 of them. Yes, he's in jail now. We will see. Oh, look at that, Bernard, my brother. I have to break from this for a second and just bring it back to Bernard here. Considering the topic, shit hits the fan, you might need more than $1. Thank you, my friend. Let's see. Let me go back over to this. Let's see. Civil unrest. So I fully expect in the next days, weeks, and months for the left to arm itself and start shooting. I think they're going to start shooting. This is going to become just like a gang war. Crips versus Bloods, North versus South, whatever. You're going to have left versus right. The left is going to start shooting. The right is going to shoot back. It's going to overwhelm law enforcement. Hell, you just saw in Kenosha the other night, law enforcement wasn't anywhere to be found until this thing had already happened. Had they had some kind of a presence in the area, I don't think that 3 people would have been shot, and I don't think that you would have a 17-year-old in jail at this moment. But anyway, this has happened too. Government shuts off cell service and data to a specific area, maybe a city. They've done it in Egypt. They did it in Egypt during the Arab Spring. I could see the government shutting these things down again here in the U.S. in different cities to stop coordination between Antifa groups because these people, they tweet to each other. They use Snapchat or other social media. They've got other apps that they use, messaging apps. And this is how they are gathering large groups of people and how they call in reinforcements. So I could definitely see the government itself shutting down cell service. And when they shut down that cell service, the very method that they use to alert people of an emergency, of, say, fires in a neighborhood because Antifa might be burning down neighborhoods. Now people can't get those alerts because everything that the government is instituted is based in social media and high technology. So having the radios back in your stable, plan B communications. Let's see, and then the great big shit hits the fan situation. This is going to be like the giant weaponized EMP, the whatever war, a big nationwide civil war, the breakdown of our society. Cell service may be mostly or completely out. You're going to have to end up getting supplies, seek medical attention, check on family, friends, relatives that are out of the area, and plan B communications now may become the only way to communicate outside of, say, the little group getting out, getting news and information in and out of your area. Examples of Plan B in action. Puerto Rico, 2017. Hurricane relief efforts made heavy use of ham radio, GMRS, other Plan B communications. 2005, Hurricane Katrina. Ham radios were the only people or the only way to get information in and out of that area. 2018, the Paradise Fire, it leveled entire cities. All the cell phone towers burned up. They did not have 911 service. They didn't have reverse 911 service. And it wouldn't have mattered anyway because everything, the infrastructure just burned up. It was gone. A lot of people died. Thousands upon thousands of people were left homeless, businessless, and the only way that some people were alerted to this was Plan B communications, whether it was people not physically knocking on their door or people with radios, ham radios, FRS, CBs, whatever. People put those into play, and some of them were alerted. And then last year with our PG&E power shutoffs, cell towers lost power. That left thousands of people without communications right off the bat. Those with ham radio were able to communicate in and out of the area up until the point where a couple of the local repeaters went down, and maybe they had access to repeaters that were out of the affected area, which was good. So most of us still had some way with ham radio to get messages out to the rest of us. I'm going to take a quick break here for a second, and we're going to run back to We're going to run back to the big screen here, take a few messages, or I'm going to look through the comments here. Let's see. From James Hannibal, his family and friends who won't get a ham license got him into 900 megahertz 1 watt civilian version of the GoTenna mesh radios. Yeah, there's another option. It's an off-grid option, that GoTenna, and I got to get a hold of some of those and check them out. Let's see. From Todd out in Hawaii, the problem is that police are nowhere to be found, and the right hasn't responded earlier, but when they do, everyone will know it. Yeah, that's true. That is true, and I do see it coming. Where does that information get shared to? It's a public system, so who knows the information you're sharing? Location, number. That is from John Gates. It's kind of specific again to cell phones that are tied into that whole little GoTenna mesh network. So anyway, Let's see. They should shut down cell service. Let's see, from T. Bailey. They should shut down cell service in the areas where the rioting is happening. But you are right. You wouldn't be able to send out notices. Yep, that is true. I don't know. Maybe they have been restricting or shutting down certain cell phone towers. But honestly, in most of the cities that this is happening in, there's multiple cell phone towers, and you would pretty much have to shut the entire city down to quell that communication amongst Antifa cells. Let's see. From Addie Moore, most left-leaning people are against guns. This is one reason I would love to see them banned. No 17-year-old should be allowed to go try to be a wannabe cop. Addie, where I disagree is the left is arming themselves. Yeah, they've always said traditionally they were against guns. They were for gun control, but they are arming themselves. And they're arming themselves in record numbers, which only goes to show that the Second Amendment works, because when the left actually sees the need to protect themselves with firearms, that tells you that really is the last line of defense. Let's see. Okay. James says GoTana Mesh is an encrypted private comms that can be directed to a single person or a group, has the ability to broadcast publicly and do emergency broadcast. Let's see. Katrina. Northcom deployed down with Iridium sat phones. I know because I signed them out. The impetus that drove Northcom to get comms Suburbans for emergency deployments. That was from John Gates. And John, I understand, is a tech professional. So, and has done a lot of that stuff. So you know better than me. But I'll tell you what, I know as many as I don't think you guys had enough sat phones to hand out to get messages out for individuals or the Red Cross or other served agencies or just like I said, individuals like Ham Radio was able to do. Let's see. Let's get back. Let me get back over to our Plan B communications here. Oop, it's blank. Oh man, it's blank. Primary display. There we are. We're back. Okay, so types of radio. Remember, guys, this is geared mainly toward the preppers in the group who aren't hams and people who are just now getting into this. So please forgive me if I am going over stuff that is like way too elementary. Let's see. Types of radio. Ham radio, UHF, VHF, mobiles, and handhelds. They are ideal for short-range communications. 2 to 25 miles, kind of the general rule. Ham radios have a VFO. And that VFO lets you, number one, find a clear frequency in a fairly crowded spectrum. And when there isn't a big emergency, ham radio tends to get pretty crowded, gets very, very active. And the ability to go find a free frequency or an off frequency is huge in the ham radio world. Excuse me. I'm going to take a little drink of water here. Ham radio also, and I'm going to put up, I'm going to put up camera number 3 here, a look down camera, and I'm going to show you guys, and remember, this is for the preppers in the group there. I actually have this radio is now in scan mode. So I've got, maybe 100 channels, 100 frequencies that I have programmed in to this radio. And if you look in the inset box there, that is scanning. There's a difference. When you pick up the FRS radio, I could set this radio to scan, but it is only going to scan the 16 channels that it has pre-programmed in it. You can't go any further. And I'm going to turn that one off. Let's see. So the having this radio in your possession, or one like it, it allows you to be a scanner. So you could scan other ham radio repeaters, nearby stuff, police and fire if they're not on trunked systems, or if they are simulcasting, and that keeps you informed. And it also has the right frequencies in there that you can communicate with your local group or your neighborhood or family or whatever. This is a little bit more limited, but it is very, very simple to use. You could pass these out to virtually anybody in your neighborhood, in your group. You can have them, go out, and if you get the buy-in from all your neighbors that they want to be part of the group, they can go out and buy these things by themselves. They could have them. You could say, look, if something happens, we're going to all be on channel 2, and we'll talk to each other on channel 2. That kind of stuff. You can hand them out to the kids. You can give them to the whole family. Remember, ham radio and some GMRS, you're able to take the antenna off and replace that with a bigger, better, badder antenna like the Abri. This one, not so much. These are fixed. FRS radios, the antennas are fixed, and I think that's like 1 or 2 watts of 1 or 2 watts max power. So they're not getting out very, very far, but they do at least these Retivuses do a good job. Let's see. FRS also cheap and easy to come by. You could get them in a blister pack. You can order them on Amazon. CB radio, legally limited to 5 watts. But you know what? If you're in a pinch, you can put a linear amp on a CB. You can hook that CB up to a good 10 meter antenna, and you could get out for literally hundreds and hundreds of miles. Gathering intel with Plan B, because now Plan A is dead. Plan A is not working anymore, probably. Plan B becomes the way that we're going to get our news and information during the emergency. Let's see. You can use a pre-programmed ham radio as part scanner and part emergency communicator. We already talked about that. Here's the fire example. Fire breaks out near your location. You turn on your handheld. You set it to scan. If you've done all your homework, you've got a good mix of local ham repeaters, aircraft frequencies, fire, police frequencies, what other public service you might have in your area. Now you can monitor this in real time. If something happens, you're going to know about it right now. As long as you have power in the house, leave this thing sitting in its cradle. It'll keep charging the battery, and then when the power does go out, if it does go out, you'll be running solely on battery power for as long as that can last. That's why I always suggest a second battery to go along with whatever Plan B communications. Unfortunately, well, yeah, I guess you can do with this radio. With some of them you can't. This radio has a removable battery, this Retevis RT47, so you can buy extra batteries for these things, and you can have a few batteries, which will get you hours and hours of communication. Let's see. If you have a neighborhood group, anyone in the group can now sound an alarm, relay information, ask for help, get updates, and that is regardless of whether Plan A is working. And I think we're down to our last slide. Let's see. HF radio, CW, and digital modes. So HF, or high frequency, is the spectrum of the radio that you're used to seeing on TV, the big giant radios. And let's cut back to camera number 1 here, and there is an HF radio here. These are big sets. Go to camera 2, and we'll go back over to our deal there. Let's see. In a larger emergency, such as widespread civil unrest, massive earthquake, or the EMP. That's been my worst case scenario, is the EMP. HF can be used to get messages in and out of affected areas. Used very effectively in Katrina to get messages in and out of the New Orleans area. You can also get intel from other cities to gauge your situation, decide whether it's better to hunker down where you're at or bug out. Let's take massive civil unrest and civil war. How nice would it be to get actual, real intel from other people in other areas to let you know? I know out here in the People's Republic of California, if there was massive civil unrest and massive, just bad stuff going on, I would love to be able to get real information from, say, Nevada, Idaho, Arizona, Wyoming, wherever, to find out, is it as bad there as it is here? Is it safer for me to get the hell out of here, to take what I can and get out? Or is it better for me to hunker down because, you know what, who knows, maybe now the roads are barricaded and you're not going to be able to get through. Maybe you don't want to travel at night because of things. I don't know. So it's good to be able to get the intel and to be able to check on, you got relatives in another state or another part of the country. It's very, very nice to be able to get information possibly to those relatives, to tell them you're okay, to find out if they are okay. And you can do that with HF ham radio very, very easily. CW, Morse code. In today's world, CW is almost like encoded transmissions. If you know the secret key and you know how to decipher ham rate, or you know how to decipher Morse code coming over the radio, it works in far more situations with far worse propagation on the HF bands. It gets out further, and if you know how to use it, you can get messages that the general public, they're just going to hear and it won't mean anything to them. Likewise, things like D-Star, DMR, C4FM, digital voice modes for short range communications. If you have sensitive, mission critical kinds of communications with your group, and I don't say use this as as your primary short range communications. You want to do this with pretty mission specific stuff, because number one, most average people that buy a ham radio or buy a scanner, they're looking for bargains. They're gonna buy a $35 radio that is an analog radio. So all they're going to hear is when you transmit, and they're going to think something's wrong because they don't understand what the whole radio thing is all about. And that's only if they are close enough to intercept direct transmissions from radio to radio. And I'm not even talking about repeaters here. I am talking about, this is like end of the world kind of stuff, and we are just absolutely trying to survive. I think that is the that's it. That's it for the PowerPoint. So, 83 people on the stream, 56 thumbs up, 3 thumbs down. If you, wow, I would honestly like to know why the 3 thumbs down. Well, at least 2 of them. One of them I know is a troll, and hit it before the stream ever started. But the 2 that we got during the stream here, I would love for you to comment and let us know what don't you agree with. And you know what? I'm not an expert. This is coming from my experience in the prepping world and as a ham radio operator, knowing what I know. And I don't claim to know everything. Let's see. Let's go back through some of these, because I know the messages have been fast and furious. You know what? 62 thumbs up now. 72 people on the stream. So far, quiet. Let's see. WJ6F. So far, quiet here in OC. But how long for now, I don't know. Sure, if Trump wins in November, the shooting will erupt. Yeah, well, I think the shooting's going to erupt long before November. I think it's a coming. Let's see. Let me see. Anybody got anything about? Wow, a lot of people commenting about the what happened in Kenosha the other night. John Gates firearms instruction up to and including shooting teams used to be in high school. The communist left has been attempting to disarm America for decades. Yeah, well, you know, that's that's nothing new. Nothing new here. MERS. What about MERS? Yes, MERS is another great option. It is more along the lines of that GMRS, FRS kind of a radio. It's kind of a cross between that and a commercial radio. It operates not in the ham bands. It operates outside of the ham bands. I don't know if they have a VFO. I don't know if they will scan other other types of frequencies. But other things that I don't know if I say if I'm overlooking it, but marine radios is another option. Not a lot of people have marine radios. You're not supposed to use them, but you know what? In a shit hits the fan situation, use what you can use. You use whatever you got, whatever you can use. I'm just throwing out the ideas. MERS is another good one. Let's see. From Fire Guy, MERS is a secret. Let's see. It's called Split Op. It's called Split Op. If you've got BCT after junior year, ACT after you graduate. Okay, I don't know what that is. First rule, the first rule about MERS is don't talk about MERS. I won't mention it again. Let's see. Let me try to get through some of these comments here. And preach, brother. New people need to know it all. From the Super Viking. Thank you. That is very, very cool. Thank you guys for the thumbs up. Keep them coming. 76 thumbs up. 77 people on the stream at this moment. I would love to hear. And you know what I am going to do? I am going to put up the live call-in, the Skype. If somebody wants to call in, go ahead. There's the live Skype. Yeah, I've got YouTubers on also, so we can. I'll take a. Well, you know what? I don't want to discuss this on YouTubers. I don't want to discuss it on the radio. But on Skype, I'm all good about it. So if somebody wants to do that, that is good. Let's see. That is complete bull. I don't know. Addie Moore, I don't know what is complete bull. And if Addie, if that means that you don't believe me that the left is arming themselves, man, watch the videos of what's going on. It's out there on like every video. The left is arming themselves. Antifa has actually sent, or there is groups of Antifa fighters that have gone and embedded themselves with like Turkish troops and freedom fighters in the Middle East. I kid you not. And they're getting actual combat experience. Granted, their numbers are very, very small, but then they come back and they train more. And that is very dangerous. That is where we are going to end up seeing a very, very bloody civil war. Come back over to camera number 2 here. Allie Moore, why are you so defensive? Let's see. Thumbs up from Brazil. From Luis. Thank you for Brazil, my friend. Use smoke signals. I am tired of all the saber rattling. We need a quieter country, less stress. You know what, Addie? I would totally agree. That would be awesome if that would be absolutely awesome if everybody could just take a chill pill. But because Antifa and Black Lives Matter don't take a chill pill and they're going out and they're burning. You know what? If people wanted to protest, peacefully protest, man, that is what this country is made of. I would peacefully protest for the things that mean the most to me, the Second Amendment. I will gladly peacefully protest. What I won't do is burn down buildings and and burn down people's houses and beat people up and kill people just on the belief of something that I believe in or something that I am protesting against. That is wrong. I mean, that is I got a moral compass, and you got to have a moral compass in order to understand when to take that chill pill. Let's see. From my friend Todd over in the islands there. Great topic, Bob. Right on a super chat. Thank you so much, Todd. Guys, you know, like I said, the super chats are greatly appreciated. You know, it does help fund this channel. Lots and lots of costs involved over here. Let's see. From Clark. This is great stuff. Don't forget about earthquakes. Towers and poles come crashing down. They'll need hams. Again, we need to get more involved into solar in our radios. Batteries wear down. Yeah, absolutely. I have charged things up with solar. I've got small little portable solar panels. And yeah, you know, out here, this is earthquake country. And I have seen firsthand buildings coming down, some hellacious rocking and rolling from earthquake. And if we hit the big earthquake, let's say the big one out here, if that hits, and that can hit any time, who knows? Or say the super volcano in Yellowstone. Holy crap. Those two things can wipe out, it can be almost extinction level events. I don't know. I don't know if it matters at that point. But we can't fight with Mother Nature. We can't control Mother Nature. Mother Nature is going to do what Mother Nature wants to do. Let's see. Peaceful protest is specifically protected under the First Amendment. Yeah, exactly. That is the First Amendment. The right to redress our government for grievances. Peacefully. Not burning things down, not vandalizing things, not attacking, physically attacking people who, and I won't even say don't agree with you, but who aren't actively protesting with you. People are getting murdered, beaten, dragged out of cars just for driving down the street. And, Reginald Dennied. That ain't right. Let's see. Not talking about self-defense in my last comment. And I didn't see, let's see, from David Fuller, what will you get when you burn something of some other than your and hurt them? Yeah. And he's not talking about self-defense. Okay, here in Nevada, from Clark, our power company was sweating things out last week. Couldn't get power from other states due to the ones they got power for while hurting. So they couldn't give up any power. They couldn't give you guys any power. Well, that's a bad thing. Let's see. And Todd says, out in Hawaii, off-grid wind, solar, battery banks, and DC to AC inverters. Yeah. Guys, that's the other thing, is you need to be able to charge up Plan B here. Solar panels, small inverters are the way to go. So, I would like to hear from, let's see, they are begging to cut our power usage down, turn up thermostats, don't wash dryers. Yeah, Clark, in reference to your thing, this is nothing new in California. California has been cycling off the power for years. We've been getting brownouts, blackouts. Now PG&E with the power shutoffs. They're literally. I had my power shut off for 4 days at a time last year. So everything we did was kind of the off grid thing. A lot of solar, a lot of generator. Be prepared. Let's see. From Joe Jones. We're experiencing the war elitists created with their propaganda machine against the working class for voting the way they did. Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I don't know exactly if that's it. I think it's the media. Huge problem with the media. Just out and out spinning lies, and I think that is one of the big problems. All right. Get 100 peaceful protesters together, and you could bet someone will show up to stir things up. Yeah, and that's exactly. When the Ferguson riots first started, when the Ferguson protests, and when some of these other protests first started up, they were peaceful. There was a lot of peaceful protesting. The protesters would go home at the end of the day, and then the rioters came out. Now it just seems like Antifa and Black Lives Matter has been hijacked by Antifa. And I just see this as they've taken the masks completely off. They have stripped away every pretense about who they are and what they want. And we're not going down that road peacefully or easily. We will eventually wake up, fight to the death for our way of life, our Constitution, our God, whatever God you worship. I don't know. But I wanted to talk about communications, not the politics today, and survival stuff. So, looking for a Prius. Look at this. JP in Tucson. A Prius also makes a great battery charging option. The vehicle can, but hybrid is built better for it. Hey, look at that. It's something I didn't think about for charging. Grab that Prius and charge your equipment. Helps to have a 3-day bug out kit, including radio equipment. Yes, I am a big proponent of having a bug out bag, something that you can grab and go. I also carry what I call my get home bag, which is a smaller bag, and I carry that in the vehicle with me. Just enough stuff to get me home if I've got, say, like a 1 day's walk, which isn't very far at the pace I go. And maybe we'll do a show on bug out bags. Maybe we'll just do a show. If you guys want to see a show on how to build an effective bug out bag, a get home bag, what's the difference? Thumbs up and leave a comment. Just leave a comment, bug out bag. and and maybe we'll do that. Let's see. WJ6F works at a nuclear power plant, Southern California. Edison screwed the pooch, caused it to be shut down, and now we have rolling brownouts and cycling. Yeah, well, welcome to California, where the power is like the wind. It comes and goes. Let's see. Antifa, I hate autocorrect. From Fox Nakamori. BLM started as community outreach, turned into terrorist organization thanks to Antifa. Yeah, thanks to Antifa and to George Soros, who has funded it. But I haven't seen Black Lives Matter doing anything for the community other than protesting. They haven't built anything, fixed anything, handed out any meals, nothing. So, electric cars, not the magic they need to be recharged, and hybrids need the gas stations, need electricity. Yeah, well, you know what? But those batteries, if you park that car, those batteries will last a good long time, and they could be charged by solar panels. So making that hybrid car still valuable as far as that goes. We have 88 thumbs up now. That is freaking awesome, guys. Thank you. Let's see. Thumbs up. yes. Bug out bags. Bug out bag. Bug out get home. Awesome. We got a lot of guys want to see the bug out bag video. Bob's. That is awesome, guys. Yes, thank you. All right, you guys have spoken. We will do a bug out bag conversation. One more time, I'm going to open up the Skype call one more time here. If anybody wants to jump in there on Skype and be on the show. I think otherwise we're kind of hitting that 12:15, 12:30ish, and that's kind of where we typically knock this one off. Let's see. And I don't see anybody else calling in or anything. So I'm gonna just start the back end. Whoa! Wrong button. Well, you know what? Okay, that goes out to the two guys that did send me super chats. A lot of guys want to see bug out bags, get home, clothing, documents. Oh yeah, that's something I'll show you. Is something that I have done. Very, very cool. Let's go back to camera. No. Crap. I'm hitting all kinds of buttons today. All right, guys. Let's see. What do we have here? If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button on my channel. Please hit that subscribe button right now. It really does help. I have fallen so far behind Jason at Ham Radio 2.0. I mean, for years, the two of us were like neck and neck. We were within, 1,000 subs of each other. And I don't know what he did, but he did something. And all you guys went and hit that subscribe button on his channel, and you didn't hit the subscribe button on mine. Also, while you're at it, I would love for you guys to either check out, to either consider donating to me on PayPal, or Patreon. I don't know how far Patreon is for this earth. They're embroiled in a few lawsuits right now, and they may come tumbling down soon because, get woke, go broke. But anyway, I would love for you guys to do that. I am going to, I keep saying it, but I'm working on some ideas, especially for the patrons. And speaking of my patrons, I definitely want to thank you guys. And where are you? There, my list of patrons. Thank you one and all. I honestly, I couldn't do this show weekly without you. It is a huge suck on my personal resources, on my time. I love doing it. I love being with you guys. So I thank you to the guys who really make it happen. Let's see. The last little comments here coming out. Thanks for the PowerPoint presentation from David. I don't know if that's sarcastic or not. I honestly try not to do PowerPoints because I know how boring they can be. But I hope it was short enough. Great show. From Clark, great show. Was on vacation. Was able to watch your live show. Thank you. Thank you, Clark, for joining us. And let's see, from K2LAZ. Don't forget to put your important document in a fireproof container. At the very least, when they find your body and crap in the fire, they know who to contact as your next of kin. Yep, there you go. And you know what? Maybe I will put that. That kind of a show, that bug out bag, get home bag, and what I do for all the important documents. I have kind of a unique kind of a deal that I do with it. Anyway, guys, thank you again. Thank you so much for joining me. Go back over to camera 1 and I will sign off here. If you guys have any other comments, if you're watching this later, please leave a comment below. Subscribe, share this video. And I encourage you guys, share the video with your ham radio clubs, with your neighborhood groups. I don't know, whatever. Let's spread the word. Let's get Plan B communications out in front of the masses. Guys, thank you so much again. That's all I've got. I'm Bob, K6UD8. My voice is now starting to go because I've been talking so much. I'm out of here. 7-3.